Are you gonna film with me? Huh? Are you gonna stamp? You can't sit here. Nobody wants to see a kitty today. Come on, hop out. Hi, my name's Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio, where it is a April showers bring May flowers kind of a day. So I was messing with my lights, and apparently that, now she's just moved over on top of all of my stuff. But apparently when I got up, she thought that maybe she could take center stage of my little stamp area here. So welcome to my stamp studio. My name is Sherry. I'm going to show you a fun sneak peek card today, and I have a couple of other things that I'm going to share with you before I get going and as I stamp. One, the sneak peek comes from the annual catalog, which now we're just a couple of weeks away from you being able to order from it. So don't forget that because this is starting, we do still have a lot of clearance stuff on the last chance list. So next week, I'll be doing, that's the UPS man throwing some stamp stuff at my door. I will be doing some last chance videos on a couple of my favorite retiring products. I started pulling them out last night. I have so many favorites, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. But there are some sales and you don't want to miss those. So if you need a copy of this catalog and you're in the US, all you have to do is message me and I'll be happy to send you one. And that's where our sneak peek is coming today. So I have done a couple of things already, and all of these have tutorials up. This is the Pansy Patch, and this will be my first online class. This is just a basic stamp class that I normally do in May. So registration for that will come up in a couple of weeks. And then these two use the color and contour, which, you know, I ordered it because it was part of the demonstrator pre-order, and I ended up really, really liking it. So it's a really beautiful bundle. I love the rectangles. So you can see both of those tutorials up as well. So the card I'm going to use today, I'm going to show you a little bit about my Try It class because registration for that will open and the class almost always fills. So let me pull up a past Try It class. So when you do a Try It class with me, it's got cat hair on it, shocking. So when you do a Try It class, what it is you don't get any stamps. And I don't provide any stamped images because we're not allowed to do that. So you'll have to have some sentiments if you want to add them to the cards. But for the most part, the cards will be finished as they are. So you will get to try, just as the name suggests, you'll get to try it, all of the stuff that will be in whichever catalog. I do them 3 times a year. So this will be for this annual catalog. You'll get, I'm going to say all of the papers. You'll get all of the designer series papers, not every piece of every one, but every project will feature a designer series paper, a new ribbon, a new embellishment. There's a lot of specialty papers. So I'm still kind of working through the details. And when I post the class in my next email and registration goes up, it will go into some more detail. And then of course there's always the back order issue, especially now that COVID, you know, is a thing. So fingers crossed that everything that is new will be available. And you usually get, if there's new punches or some new dies, I usually throw in a couple of those things on a couple of the cards as well. So then we just walk through, every card will like feature the new papers, and even though you don't get every sheet on the video, because all of my classes are video based, I will show you every sheet of paper so you can see them up close. So you get to see them all, and then they're tutorial based. So not all of my classes come with PDFs because videos are my thing. PDFs are not my thing. And it's not that I can't do them. I can do them and I can do them well. I just don't like it. I'd rather talk. So, but you do get it for this one, and then you can keep it forever. So each card is kind of also a template. So there's usually math involved, also not my thing. Again, I can do it, just don't like it. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So this would be last year's annual catalog. So you get this fun little tutorial, and it has a place where it will always link you back to the videos. So for this one, I think there were 10 or 12. There's usually about 10 or 12 cards. And if you hit this little button, it'll take you to the playlist. So forever, you will have a little link that you can always go back to the tutorials. You're never going to lose them. And then each of the cards has its own page. So for this card today, I'm going to go, I have it here. So this is from last year's, and this paper is retiring. The stamp set's staying. If you love this stamp set, this paper is on clearance. I would highly recommend it. The hoops and this ribbon, these may make it to my favorite things. It's last chance. I think they're all on sale, and they're all some of my favorites. But so here is this little card that we did. So you can see, you get to see lots of the papers. We cut out some of the papers. You got a new embellishment, and then you just had to add your own sentiment as part of the class. So I can take this now and I can just pull it back out with my PDF. And here's the other thing, which I didn't know was going to be an issue on this card, but it was. When I do the class, like here's this one, and then when I film, just like I often do in the videos, I can switch it up a little bit. So here it is reversed. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to reverse this one, but you have all the measurements. And so that's kind of how my Try It classes work. And that's why it's called Try It, because you get to try everything in the catalog, pretty much that's new, that's, you know, in the back of the catalog, obviously not the stamps and stuff. You get to try it, and then you get to decide what you like. Because sometimes when you actually see it in person, like those new rhinestones, those are beautiful. And like last year's sequins, it shocked me, because those ended up being one of my favorites. So for today's card, we are going to use the Beauty of Friendship bundle. Now, again, you wouldn't get a stamp set in this, but just like in the future, if you have the template PDF, you can refer back to it and design a card, and then of course you can add a stamp. But look at the paper that comes with this. So in the class, we'll go over every single sheet of paper. And this paper is just so beautiful. It's so pretty. It has a little bit of a feel to that Forever Greenery suite that I just showed you. So you do need a paper trimmer or a score or something when we do this class, because we have a lot of things that we kind of do template-y. So I'm going to take my piece of cinnamon cider. Sorry, I left to get a drink. Allergies. And I'm going to score it. I also moved my cap. So I'm going to score it at, well, I didn't move her. I got my measurements at 1 3/4. You want to make sure that you use the scoring blade and not your cutting blade. So 1 3/4. Might have not been quite 1 3/4. 1 3/4. And then flip it around the other way, because I don't like to, and 2 1/2. So we have those. And you can see when they fold in, then this is going to leave a card size space back there. So it's a standard card size. Just go ahead and flatten these. So that's our card. And then when you get the Try It, you would have your pieces of paper to go on it. And then you would follow the instructions. And then for this, here is the new Baker's Twine Essentials pack. And for it, I went with the gray granite. So you would have a piece of that. You have your whole little packet full of all new wonderful goodies. And the nice thing is I know a lot of people like to do paper shares and things where you get a whole lot of stuff. But I know also, because I've been told and because I've done it, where you participate in those, and then right now, like if you look back, you still have lots of last year's things laying there. This way, everything you get is in the amount that you will be able to use it and try it, and then decide if you like it, and you don't have to have a ton of stuff left over next year. Now for this, I'm going to use the stamps. So let me show you the dies real quick for this bundle. So there's 2 different ways that you can use the bundle. One is this super fabulous giant tree, and then there's some huge things that will cut out the actual paper. So as you were looking at that leaf paper I showed you, you can cut that out, the paper, and it just makes leaves. And then you just cut that giant, wonderful trunk out, and then you have a fun tree with hardly any effort. I'm going to actually use the stamps on this one. I'm going to use cinnamon cider to match my paper. So if you want details about the Try It class, then you can make sure you're on my email list. That's the easiest way to get them. It eventually ends up on my blog where the registration will be. And it will be on my Facebook as well. So we've got that. And there's two different ways you can participate. You can participate and actually get all the stuff, or if you're a demonstrator and you want to buy it from yourself, then I do just sell the video course as well. And with that, you do get the tutorial book. I just ask that you not then go and post it and do your own class with it. Now, these colors are not in the paper, but I wanted to use them because they're new and they're tree colors. So I'm going to use the new Evening Evergreen and the Soft Succulent. Let me try to remember which direction. So I did this one in the Evening Evergreen. It's a really pretty stamp. And I think that I did not use these the way that they're designed, but that's okay. I don't like to watch anything before I do these because I like to try to figure them out on my own. And I didn't look in the catalog, so I'm not quite sure exactly how people use them. This isn't a big enough piece of paper though. Let me get a bigger piece of paper. Excuse me, cat. And I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to stamp this and wait till you see how pretty this stamps. You could just leave it on its own because this is just beautiful. So this is the Evening Evergreen. Isn't that pretty? Look at all that. I'll try to get it close so you can see. All of the detail and the stippling and the two different tone-on tones when you've just stamped it once. In fact, I could practically leave it just like that, except that I want to use another new color. And it is a two-step stamp. I love this bundle because I love when we can do masculine cards and all-season cards. So this is the Soft Succulent, and it goes right over the top of it. This would be a great stamp for your Stamparatus. So put that over the top. Now I know it looks a little bit funky because my head was not right over the top of it because nobody wants to see my head. You want to see me stamp. But I'm going to, the way I used the dies, it doesn't matter. And I did mine until I got it perfect before, and then I switched up the way I did them. So it didn't even matter. And then I'm going to use Bumblebee, which is an in color from last year. And this one has a little hello. This came out of the set. I want it over here. Oops, well, even when I'm not trying to line stuff up today, apparently I can't stamp. Okay, so now let's do the dies. They're big, so I can't get them on. I'm like, could maybe get them all on at once, but I'm not going to try. We're going to do 2 passes of the Cut and Boss. And the giveaway, the ways to enter, there's several, but it's been going on for a couple of, about maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it will end soon. So if you want one of these, or you want to be able to give one away, or if you have a cabin and you want to keep one at the cabin, so you don't always have to tote it around. Or you could keep your old Big Shot at the cabin and get a new one of these. Then go over and check out the ways that you can be entered to win. So I'm going to do this little hello bar comes in it. It's a saying bar, and then I'm going to cut that out. And this is why I switched up the way that I cut out the top. I would show you, well, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe I can look in my trash and see if one of the ones, because I messed with everything to get it to go be the way I wanted. And so some of the stuff, when you cut it enough times, it just kind of falls apart. So this, and I'll put some close-up pictures on my website because this has a really pretty border around it. It's a really nice little label. And then of course this pops out all of these. But when you just did this with the die that it comes with, which is this, then you couldn't see all you were ended up with seeing was the bottom of this. And I wanted to see this. So I took the one that's designed to be used with the paper. That's why I needed a bigger piece of paper. Go that way with it. So it's gonna leave us a little bit of white, but that's okay, because this is kind of an artsy looking tree, artsy looking card when we're all said and done. We're not going for real nature. We're going kind of for that watercolor look. So we have this. Get my poking out, which I do have my pokey thing laying here and the cat's right on top of it. So scissors work in a pinch because it's cut. It's just kind of pressed in there. But see, now we have, it didn't matter that it was kind of splotchy because we ended up with just the splotches. And I really like that. It kind of lightened up the look because I didn't really want a winter card. I didn't really want a fall card because, you know, here we are. And my red bud is about ready to bloom. So I wasn't really in the fall mood, but I love this paper. Oh, and I forgot my little birds. I was so busy talking to you about the fun tree. I forgot the birds. So it does come with this little bird die. There's 2 of them on one. You can do just, I thought, do I do a full video and tell about the class? Or do I just do a quick little thing? Because this would just be cute on the little hello. But it looked kind of barren, and see how cute that would be? Doesn't it look a little barren and winter? So if you're in the southern hemisphere and you're going into fall, then you can do one of those. I'm not ready to quite do winter yet. I can do fall because it's beautiful, and autumn is the best, but I'm not ready to go back to winter. You know, it's still, and if you live in the Midwest, we're always precariously close to hopping back to winter. So here's my dilemma. When I designed this card, here's what it was. I picked my greens based on this piece of paper, and I picked these things. So, you know, you look at one side of designer series paper. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that selection of paper. That's just beautiful. This is the one that started it all. This is where the cinnamon came from. It's where the red for the birds came from. So this is a no-brainer. This is really pretty. It's got trees on it, but this is beautiful. So let's put this on here. And this is cut. Often when I cut cardstock, I leave like a little border. This is cut 5.5 because I want you all to see every bit of the paper when you do a Try It class. And so then I got ready to put this on here. And so I flipped it over, and oh my goodness, then there's a dilemma. And when we do the Zoom class with my downline, because we Zoom, because the girls are all across the United States, then it's funny because half of us pick one and half pick the other. So this was my full intent to do this, and I still like it. And that's, but I just couldn't. Look how pretty that is. So, you know, it's just, oh, and so then I thought, well, we'll decide when I put this green in the middle. So I put the green in here, really pretty, right? Based my tree on the green. And then I went to glue it on, and look, which I think this is partly, so if you're being really lazy, you can take either of the tree trunks and pop that out. But oh, then we're left with a much more neutral card. And if it was straight up autumn, then I would go back and, or even winter, you could just do, oh look, you could just do this in white and put this little cardinal down here. I guess we could just change the whole thing. I mean, it's my card, right? Except that when you open it, it's gonna have that green back there. Ugh, such decisions. Because once you stick that paper down, although sometimes when the paper is really, really beautiful, I find a way, I use window sheet or something, and we make a way that we can see both sides of paper on one card, because it's just stressful. I don't know, girls. I wish that I was doing a Facebook Live so I could ask your opinion. Okay, I'll do, okay, I'm going to, but see, this is, if you cut all of your paper out with that, then your leaves would look like that on your tree. Why does Stampin' Up! Do that? Why do they put two beautiful pieces of paper back to back? Why couldn't the other side just be like white? I mean, I love our papers double-sided, but sometimes it's just heartbreaking. Okay, now we'll go back to this. Do we want to leave this green? Yeah, I'm going to do it just so I have two different pictures to show you. And this is my original card, which is funny. This was how I designed it, how I cut the paper out, because I didn't flip it all over. And then the card that I ended up with that I'll show you in a minute is not at all like these two are totally opposite. So we have this. Now remember, in this, I used the ribbon. I made this little thing. We cut out some papers, and this made a nice little flappy. So you need, when you do a card like this, it's nice to have something that kind of keeps it closed, because you can see, even though I have used my bone folder, it still has a tendency to pop open. So I always like to have a little flap. So I'm going to add a little bit of my Seal Plus here. I'm going to take my twine, let that piece kind of stick up. Like that. Stick that on there. And then let's build our little tag, which is super easy to do. So I'm going to just put just a little bit of the seal here. And this is nice because it comes off in those little strips and it's super sticky. So it'll hold that nicely, just like that. See, it's not going anywhere. And then we'll do the same for this up here. And I want to remember that this half right here is going to be the one that ends up being stuck to the card. The other half may have a little bit that overhangs. So I'm going to try to stick this to this. And see, now we can see through, and you can position it so you can see as much as you want of the tree. Before, I just lost all of that, and all I had was the stick. And I was like, I just stamped that beautiful tree, and it's just disappeared. So now I can put, I don't want that to move, my adhesive here. Which side is it? This side. So super sticky. And I'm gonna do it, make sure that it goes half over the opening, and then I need it to be back down over here where I put that little bit of adhesive. Now I can lift this back up. Get everything stuck back down. So now we have this tree, and it's going to help hold that all closed. So now you can hear right there, there's a little bit of sticky. So I'm just going to work with it, and that's where I'm going to put my bird. Because sometimes it's hard to get those where they don't stick. And I'm going to take this little bird right here. And her over here. And there we go. Got your ribbon. No matter how big of a circle you make it, sometimes it still doesn't show all the way. I did better on my other one. Let's still pull it out. There we go. So here's this one. And then I'll show you the other one. I think I do prefer this paper. This looks a little bit more, again, and I think it's because it looks a little barren and wintry to me. And here's this one. And this one is not the same. This is not new in colors. This is the Soft Succulent and Olive. Because I was trying, oh, I guess I did. I lied. I thought that I put the wood paper in that one. Well, I guess I was gonna put the wood paper in this one because I liked it with this overall look. I'll see if I can peel it up. Although it is, you know, I have lots of paper. It's not gonna peel up. So we're just gonna leave it for now. I'm going to peel it up, and I'm going to put the wood paper, and I'll put a picture of that on my blog for you so you can see it with the wood paper, because this overall will give you a little bit more of a winter fall feel to the card. But I do love this paper. So there you go. If you're interested in participating in my Try It class, then just make sure you're on my email list or keep checking my blog, but it does fill. And the reason it fills is because we can only cut so much paper before my husband will divorce me. So I have to cut it off. Otherwise we would cut paper till the end of time, or until the skin wore off our fingers. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you back here later. Bye.